different modes as the course of the first two races. Looks like our first mode starts off with a Vanilla World 1. Fred and 1-2 in the place of 1-1, but with Boss Bass added for shits and giggles. I'm Drosy1, and we are well underway. Both runners conveniently collect. That'll allow them easy access to the end of the level and one fallen Boss Bass. So to give an idea for those of you who might not be familiar with Randomizer, the worlds are laid out in the normal way in this first game settings, but the levels are shuffled. But everywhere you'd expect to have a fort, there's a fort. Everywhere you would expect to have a regular level, there's a regular level. Pipes can be randomized with their output, so when we get to the later levels, the runners are going to have to figure that out. And items dropped by Hammer Bros and in Mushroom Houses are also randomized, so you'll actually see runners check Mushroom Houses here, which they might not in a normal speed run, because they know what's there in a normal speed run. And another vanilla, the World 1 Fortress, in the place of the World 1 Fortress. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's going to be a leaf available, so the runners will not be able to get the special item. That's another thing to be aware of here in the randomizer. The warp whistles have been removed. Runners must go through all 8 levels. However, in places where there would normally be a warp whistle, there's now a randomized special item. So if either of the runners had had access to a leaf, they could have flown up and seen what item was there, but alas. And we see our first hand level here in World 1, the cheap level. Hand levels still have a prize at the end. It's randomized, but it's the same prize for all hand levels. And that prize is the Tanuki suit. Nice. And another World 1 level, French Vanilla style. 1-1 coming at you in the place of 1-6. So all told, the runners have had a pretty easy time of World 1 here. The only particular challenge was that underwater level from World 7. Had to have one rando thing thrown in. And unfortunately, the Hammer Bros just leaving us start today. I guess that's not horribly unfortunate. They are useful. And hey, we have the, I believe, World 5 airship here. You've probably noticed that auto-scroll has been disabled for levels that would normally be auto-scroll, so the runners can get through them a lot faster than in a vanilla game. The Koopalings have been randomized to take any number between 1 to 5 hits, though they will always go down on 10 fireballs, which is what Ibuba did in the end. So we'll see how many hits one fine day. 3, okay. And the king is doing his best Groucho Marx impersonation for us today. Another thing that you will see runners do here... Oh, so Ibuba didn't know where that would go, and it wound up just leading to one of the locks. Now, locks can be broken with a hammer, but neither runner has found a hammer yet. Both runners seeming to have a pretty easy time with a 2 here. And now Ibuba is showing us the end card, which, again, the rewards have been randomized. Just because he matched 2 mushrooms doesn't mean that he actually got a mushroom for it. And unless he checks his item menu, we won't know what he got. And here is a level from World 2 in World 2, though World 2 is parading as Route 4. So does that count as French vanilla or not? I'm not sure. And remember, the occurrence of Boss Bass in these levels is proportional to how much Fred hates the runners. We now have a World 5 level here, but it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem to just run straight through it. And that pipe has led us to the end of the level, so our runners are getting to skip half the level. No, sorry. I heard the airship music, but it was actually the Air Force, and I'm just tired tonight. Apologies. Nevertheless, Ibuba had a pretty easy time with the Air Force one fine day, getting a rocky wrench in the face, but still progressing. Now that was interesting. Fortunately, the runners have a cloud, because that is some really horrible positioning of a piranha with the spike ball. One fine day, deciding that, yeah, he's gonna do the same strats. That was borderline unbeatable. Wow, nice jump by Ibuba there. While One Fine Day continues on to another Skyworld level, which Ibuba is now in the frog suit, but fortunately he's grabbing a leaf here, so he's not going to have to go through all these pinwheels in frog form. Unfortunately, he set a pinwheel a little off, so One Fine Day has actually taken a slight lead here. One Fine Day just cleared out half of that end card game too, so he probably has quite an arsenal of items now. The randomization includes the 1-ups and the coins, so just because he matched a 20 coin and a 20 coin doesn't mean he got 20 coins. Oh, yep, super tanks it is. Yeah, so it's worth noting that any location with a boom boom is randomized under forts, so the tanks, super tanks, Navy, and Air Force are all randomized in there with the fortresses, and Iggy has Quake power, but only takes 1 hit, so... Oh, no, I guess 2 hits, and I missed the first. Everybody wants to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. So all told here, we're doing pretty well for Game 1 settings, 11.5 minutes in through 2 worlds. And here we see one of our first beta mode stages. These are a set of 8 stages Fred just kind of found hidden in the game that the developers hadn't used, and he decided to randomize them in. While One Fine Day is in 6-2. And now we have the level no one wants to see on One Fine Day's side. 6-5, one of 2 levels that require flight ability to be able to beat it. But One Fine Day is all just like, flight, yeah, I can handle that, easy peasy. And One Fine Day's on to 1-6. So the runners are starting to spread out quite a bit here. This will be interesting if this continues, because I didn't get a chance to say at the beginning, but Ibuba is actually undefeated at 4-0. One Fine Day is right behind at 3-1, so they're the leaders of Group F at the moment, with the top 2 in each group progressing to brackets. Both of these runners stand a really good chance of making it there, and technically, if Ibuba wins both halves of this doubleheader, he could clinch a spot in brackets tonight. And let's see what Morton has for us tonight. Just a normal 3 hits. Ibuba is finding his way to 6-5 and decides he's not even going to bother with the Koopa Shell. I gather the game volume is bad in there. I just put the link for reporting that should have the command for how to report that the game volume isn't high enough. And yes, it is a sunny day for one fine day. Ooh, and Ibuba does not get that long jump, so he has to go around the long way here. And one fine day finds a hammer, finally. Once we get to Sky World here, or else when we are in Worlds 3, 6, or 7, that hammer can be really useful for cutting out a lot of the world. And one fine day shows us our first coin ship of the game. Now, coin ships can be triggered like in the vanilla game, where you have a multiple of 11 coins, and at the end of the level, the tens digit matches that multiple of 11. But a few Hammer Bros have just, you know, randomly been turned into coin ships, just because. So you never know where they'll pop up. And one fine day is now already onto the tower, which in the settings for Game 1, the tower will always be in its vanilla position. In Game 2, you might not even need the tower because the pipes can line up so that a pipe can take you to Sky World. Oh, and I missed the King doing his Peter Cook impersonation on One Fine Day's side, but at least we catch it on Ibuba's side. Fred is definitely a fan of classic movies, as you may have figured out, or you'll certainly see as we get more and more messages from Kings. Ooh, One Fine Day couldn't quite get through that Hammer Bro in Sky World. Now, yet another thing that's been randomized is how the Hammer Bros appear, how many, what sort of setting, depends on exactly what square they're on. So as you saw, after One Fine Day died, the Hammer Bro moved one, and so he got a totally different Hammer Bro screen the next time. One Fine Day now in the World 2 Fortress. And Ibuba finding a Tanuki suit. One more Boom Boom going the way of the Dodo, or perhaps going boom. And One Fine Day's not even gonna bother with the end card game at this point. I guess he feels like he has enough items. Apologies for that little delay. One Fine Day is now in World 3, I see. And taking advantage of that hammer since the pipe didn't get him anywhere. So which fort is this? World 5 ground? I'm never quite sure of the later world forts. Ibuba, meanwhile, making his way through 5-3, minus Karibo Shu. Oh, and One Fine Day finds the pipe to the end of the world. That is a stroke of luck. He skipped about 3/4 of the world there. Let's hope Ibuba also finds it, or he's going to lose a lot of ground. Wendy taking the normal 3 hits here. Synchronized wand falls, except they're not the same world. So I guess that puts One Fine Day exactly 1 world ahead. And he now finds himself in a Vanilla World 6. Let's see how many vanilla levels we have in Vanilla World 6. Ooh, and Ibuba okay, he backs up. I was about to say that's going to be the wrong choice if he plays that level, because we know where the pipe to the end is. Unfortunately, he does not use the hammer here. And he is instead in another one of our beta levels, while One Fine Day deals with 8-1. 8-1 with giant Goombas and giant Koopas, no less. And One Fine Day does a nice job just plain flying over the level. Not a level you really want to play, so good job for him with the P-Wing. Ibuba, meanwhile, still on the long way around here. Hopefully he'll do the fort next and take the pipe as soon as he's done with that. One Fine Day is in 7-7, and so far getting all the Starmen. He should be good. Yep. Oh, and we have the underwater fort here in World 6. Okay, does Ibuba go down the right pipe? That is the question. And that is affirmative, so he had to do a couple extra levels without using the hammer, but still gets to skip I'd say a good 2/3 of World 3. And we now see the quicksand level in World 6, minus the sun. Still with dust storms. That would be really evil if Fred figured out how to randomize the dust storms. And 1-3 here. Let's see if One Fine Day goes for the special item here. Nope, he's just going to the regular world end. And we have the Navy. Not sure why One Fine Day decided to preemptively use a P-Wing on it, but, I mean, it's getting him through in a hurry. We were doing a bit of an unorthodox jump there in 8-1. Do I have to sing while I'm solo calming? So, Ibuba's now in another beta stage. I don't remember seeing this one on One Fine Day's side. Must be taking a different route through here. And Lemmy only takes 4 hits today, which is lucky because usually he seems to take 5. It's like... he's the most obnoxious Koopaling, so of course he always takes a lot of hits. Hopefully Booba can get all the Starmen required here in 7-7. And yes, the Turnpike probably would have been faster. Did the princess just troll us with a frog suit? So World 7 with its mess of pipes is always interesting to see just how much of the world you actually have to clear and where it gets you. So far, the first pipe didn't get us very far along. Oh, and did we just have Vanilla World 7 after Vanilla World 6? And we started in Vanilla World 1? Is this even randomized? Oh, and these pipes turn out to loop around. So I guess that third pipe is the only progression here. Nope, that one is the troll pipe. The one that offends my sense of decency because its outlet isn't even on the grid. Oh, and we have the World 8 fort here in World 7. Doors, doors, and more doors. Mordor. One fine day looks like he's... No, he's not going to get the single cycle P-door. And ibuba decided to use the hammer rather than going through that fort, I think. Okay, so now One Fine Day faces the first Piranha Plant. This is one of the few things that is not going to be randomized in either Game 1 or Game 2 settings. However, the reward for the level is still going to be randomized. And ibuba seems to have caught up a bit here, only about half a world behind now. And French Vanilla 7-1. Let's see if One Fine Day can get the clip. Not having much luck so far. This gives ibuba a bit of time to catch up. Is there a number of tries where it becomes faster to just play the world? Or is that like 100 tries? Oh, and ibuba playing 2-2 here, which we did not see from One Fine Day. Well, One Fine Day, at the same time, finally gets his clip. Ooh, 3-3 makes a bit of an unwelcome appearance here, but thankfully without Boss Bass. And ibuba makes that jump and doesn't have to go searching for the block. ibuba puts the flower to sleep and then still tries to decide what to do. And realizes that at that point, might as well do the 8th fort. Another com remarked that in this fort that One Fine Day is in, Fred could be really evil and start randomizing the doors, because otherwise we just know it's door 6 at this point. And with that, One Fine Day finds his way to the airship. He World 4 airship with its famous power-up at the very end. Woodwig is going to take the full 5 hits today. Ibuba, unfortunately, also having trouble with the 7-1 clip. No randomized pipes crossworld. I don't know how I'd keep track of what world they were in. Oh, that's awesome. I hadn't seen There Once Was a Toad from Nantucket before. And we have 1-4 where the regular tanks would normally be. Since the regular tank has a hammer bro at the end, it's randomized in with regular levels, not with the fortresses. But yes, in fairness, Ibuba has closed quite a bit of the gap. He's only about 2 levels behind right now. And World 8 is the great equalizer. There are just so many pipes, anything can happen. The Navy has been replaced by 4F1. Onefineday doing a bit of Tanuki Tail swag there. Haven't seen any Tanuki statue swag yet. Ooh, and Onefineday can't quite get through that 6 fort. Yeah, as pointed out in chat, ibuba still has a hammer, but I'm not sure how much good that'll do in World 8 unless he can just happen to break a lock in the right position that would otherwise be broken by a hard out-of-the-way fortress. Meanwhile, he is having trouble with that jump. Finally gets it. We have not quite simultaneous boom-boom fights, but a boom and another boom, let's put it that way. And Onefineday does not want to risk the hands yet. Okay, so if Ibuba finds that lock that just blocked Onefineday and decides to break it, and it takes him to the end, then he could make up quite a bit of time in a hurry. Oh, Onefineday has an anchor. I just registered that. An anchor will turn into something random when you use it. You never know what you'll get. So this is interesting. One Fine Day has been at the hands from both ends. I guess he's doing this fort in the hopes that it'll be the one to break that lock. Because he now knows going through the hands is not the route to progression. Meanwhile, ibuba does use his hammer on that lock, and let's see... Okay, if this tank breaks that lock, ibuba will have taken the lead. Or I guess I should say if this World 5 Sky Fort breaks the lock. One Fine Day finds another beta level. And yes, that was the correct fort to break the lock. Ibuba has now taken the lead and is on to Bowser's castle and gets a really nice swag clip there. I'd take back what I said about it being dubious how much use a hammer could be in World 8. Ibuba's now just plowing along. And ladies and gentlemen, here's Bowser! Ooh, takes a hit, and he will have to finish off Bowser the normal way. Three more Bowser jumps. Meanwhile, One Fine Day is now progressing on to Bowser. It seems unlikely that he could get to the end, and yeah, this is going to be the last jump. But a surprisingly close race, and get your GGs in chat for ibuba7, taking round 1 here. Who manages a massive comeback after being a full world behind. Yeah, the anchor just turned into a Starman in response to chat. And there's the princess, and One Fine Day is probably only going to be a couple minutes behind. I don't think we're going to be doing interviews right now. I think the runners are just going to take a bit of a break as needed and prep for their second race. And there goes Bowser on One Fine Day's side. So, all told, they'll only be a little bit more than a minute apart. And yes, from the looks in here, 45.56 versus 47.01, so only a minute 5 apart for all that. GG to both our runners. Ibuba now moves to 5-0, One Fine Day is now 3-2.